Today, we're diving into an ancient mystery. It's about a powerful king haunted by a dream he just can't remember, and a young man whose life depends on figuring it out.
You know that feeling, right? You wake up from a dream that felt so real, it just shakes you. But the details, they're foggy, they just slip away. Now imagine this. What if it wasn't even your dream, but your life was on the line to remember it for someone else? Well, that is exactly where our story begins.
So, picture this. In ancient Babylon, you've got the most powerful man in the world, King Nebuchadnezzar. He has this dream, and it's not just some weird, random dream. It's the kind of thing that rattles him to his core. But the problem is, the second he wakes up, poof, it's gone. All he's left with is this terrible, anxious feeling.
So what does he do? He calls in his whole team of experts, the magicians, the astrologers, all the smart guys. But his request is, well, it's completely nuts. He doesn't just ask them to tell him what the dream means. He demands that they first tell him what he dreamed in the first place.
And his wise men? They are totally panicked. They basically tell him, "Your Majesty, what you're asking is impossible. There isn't a single person on Earth who can do this. Only the gods could know what you dreamed. And, they don't really hang out down here with us."
Yeah, that was the wrong answer. The king just explodes. He is absolutely furious, convinced they're all fakes. So he issues this terrifying order. Find and execute every single wise man in the entire kingdom, no exceptions.
Now, caught up in this huge mess is a young man named Daniel. He was a captive, brought to Babylon to serve in the king's court. Suddenly, he and his friends are on the kill list, even though they weren't even in the room when the king made his demand. But in the middle of all this chaos and panic, Daniel stays completely calm. He goes right to the king's captain and just asks for a little more time. Then he gets his friends together, and instead of freaking out, he says, "Okay, we need to pray." They ask God to show them this impossible secret and save all their lives.
And you're not going to believe it, but it works. That very night, the whole mystery is revealed to Daniel in a vision. He sees the dream, every last detail, and he understands exactly what it all means. The impossible just happened.
So, when Daniel is brought before the king, the first thing he does is so important. He makes it crystal clear that this wisdom isn't coming from him. He says, there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets, and he is the one who is about to show you what's coming.
Okay, so what was this dream that caused all this drama? Daniel starts to describe this huge, incredible, and honestly kind of scary statue. And as he's talking, you can just imagine the king's eyes getting wider and wider. He knows, this is it. This is exactly what he saw.
Daniel describes this giant figure. It had a head made of pure, gleaming gold. Then, its chest and arms were made of shining silver. Its belly and thighs, glistening brass. And below that, it had legs of super strong iron. But then you get to the feet, and they were this weird, fragile mix of iron and crumbly clay.
The king is just hooked, but Daniel's not done. He explains that this bizarre statue wasn't just a random image. Nope, it was actually a map of the future. Each one of those metals represented a huge world kingdom that would rise to power, one after the other.
And here's the secret code hidden in the statue. That head of gold, that was King Nebuchadnezzar's magnificent Babylonian empire. After him, a silver kingdom would take over, then a kingdom of brass, and after that, a fourth kingdom, as strong as iron. And finally, there would be a divided, shaky power, just like that weird mix of iron and clay. It was a prophecy of history before it even happened.
But wait, there's a huge plot twist at the end of the dream. Out of absolutely nowhere, a massive stone, one that wasn't cut by human hands, comes flying out of the sky. It smashes right into the statue's weak clay and iron feet, and the whole thing, the gold, the silver, the brass, the iron, it all shatters into dust and just blows away.
So what was that mysterious stone all about? Daniel explains that it represents one final kingdom, one set up by God himself. This kingdom would crush all those other empires, and unlike them, it would last forever.
At this point, the king is just completely blown away. He doesn't just thank Daniel, he literally falls on his face and worships, declaring that Daniel's God must be the God of all gods, the Lord of all kings, and the only one who can reveal secrets like this. And just like that, the death sentence was gone. Daniel had saved everyone.
It is such an incredible story. It sort of suggests that maybe behind all the crazy stuff that happens in human history, there's a bigger plan we can't always see. And it really makes you wonder, right? If a dream from that long ago could lay out the future, then what does that tell us about our own lives and our purpose, right here,
right now.